All right, boys. So, as you guys are seeing, as you guys can hear as well, I am a little bit tired this morning, but it is my off day. So, but I just want to give a little bit of an update. I keep making excuses about not making videos or anything like that, but just want to make a quick update about what is happening with the channel and to my 240 subscribers. Just want to some exciting stuff. I'm very excited about it. Right now, I'm just making some coffee real quick, but in these 5 months, right now, actually, I'm working 4 days a week doing carpentry. So Tuesday through Friday, I'm doing carpentry, 7:30 to 4. And not to be like, yeah, I'm still working and all that kind of stuff. But I'm learning a really nice skill, and I'll show you. I'm gonna bring you guys along to learn this actual stuff. I've been doing it for a little bit of time. I just want to suss it out before I actually brought my camera and all that kind of stuff. Again, another excuse, but learning a really good skill, and I'm surrounded by really good guys. So it's crazy how much you learn. Like within the last 2 weeks, I've learned the basic concepts of carpentry, safety, measure twice, cut once, that philosophy, all that kind of stuff. But the thing that I'm super excited about, sorry, I'm just whispering because I don't want to wake anybody up. The thing that I'm super excited about is I took some of the money that we made from selling the cows in the summer, and I reinvested it into knowledge, right? And I'll tell you, I'll go show you. This is a quick thing that I've been doing right now. Is I just ripped through this entire book in like 2 days, basically. It's called Comeback Farms. It's by Greg Judy. It's an excellent book, and I'm going to be writing an article, kind of like a little bit of a book review on it. And I might record a video, a book review. Why not? But excellent book. It talks about multi-species grazing and stuff like that. It did say something that I thought wasn't possible, which was pigs that can exist just on pasture. I forget what they're called. I think they're called Tom Gun, or I don't know. I have to look into it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he talks about high density holistic grazing, which is really cool. It's based on this guy. He had a farm in Africa, and but anyway, I'll get back into that and all that kind of stuff. But we have bought maybe 40 books, right? So we have, I think, 18 weeks until I go to Nebraska. Oh yeah, I'm going to Nebraska in March, the first week of March. So we got a lot of things to do. We have to read basically 2 books, more than 2 books a week, and do a book report on them, which is going to be really fun. We got everything from poetry to just poetry, financial education, financial literacy, how to structure your farm and all that kind of stuff, to farm philosophy, holistic management, all that good stuff. But as you guys can probably hear, the kettle is about to go off, so I'm going to make some coffee real quick. Let's go. It's my favorite part of the day, every day. It shows how addicted I am to coffee. But anyway, so I picked up some books. I'm actually so excited about this. I picked up a bunch of different books, basically. And now we just got to decide which one to read, There's definitely like a mix between ones that are just solely based on kind of cattle farming, like dairy, and how to run a profitable ranch and all that kind of stuff. And I'm leaning towards, because I just read the beef book with I just read the Comeback Farms by Greg Judy, obviously, and he does beef. He doesn't do dairy or anything like that. But my training is the dairy grazing apprenticeship. So, I think Ben actually does kind of run this operation, which is kind of like called the ranch dairy, which, I mean, I'm speaking for him, so obviously it's going to be wrong, but like in my interpretation of the actual ranch dairy, what I can see is There's cash flow that comes in from the dairy cows. You get paid every day, right? People are going to buy you raw milk or whatever if you have a contract. And then you have the bigger kind of thing, which is either the buffalo or the beef cows, right? And if you keep the costs down and all that kind of stuff, you don't feed grain, you have really good grass-fed genetics with smaller cows, high density grazing, all that kind of stuff, really high rest periods for that grass. Then you can, high conception rates, all that kind of stuff. Extremely, extremely dialed genetics, which it requires you to have kind of like a very strict culling protocol, you know. But yeah, that's kind of what the ranch dairy is, and I kind of like that, you know. I did kind of use Craig Judy's no risk ranching model really to custom graze, or actually I own those cows, but I custom graze some sheep for people. Yeah, I mean, I only had 3 cows, but I ended up making a profit and all that kind of stuff, and really not spending too much money on just temporary fencing and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, we got to get back to actually picking a book, the next book to read. All right, it's the first candidate, Kick the Hay Habit, which, I might be able to rip through this book in a day. It's 200 pages, 200 or so pages. I have heard really good stuff about this, right? Hay is a sensitive subject. I've made hay for 2 seasons now, 2 seasons now. Fed out hay for 3, and I would rather not make hay. I love working on equipment and all that kind of stuff, but if you didn't have to feed hay, and you just fed stockpiled forage, what a life that would be, right? It's just hay becomes way too expensive, way too fast, and you need it. I mean, you gotta feed your cows throughout the winter. Is there a different way? I don't know. Okay, then we got herdsmanship, which I've actually seen this book around the dairy where I used to work, and it looks pretty cool. Cool. Yeah, I like the way that this looks. So we got chapters like selecting and founding the herd. That's kind of cool. Okay. Long-lived families which are bred consistently are the best source of foundational stock. Yeah, 5 generations in an Ayrshire herd. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, this is more like of a milking book, which, nothing fascinates me more than a milk cow. They just they eat grass, basically, I mean, if you have a grass-fed cow, obviously, which is the goal, it turns basically the solar energy that the pasture collects into milk, which humans can consume to make into butter and cheese and all sorts of things. It's incredible. And then at the end of their life, they turn into a beef cow, right? Which, I know that sounds bad, but, that's the cycle, that is a cycle. And yeah, I mean, this could be a really cool book to read. And we got mastery. Phew, this is a thick book right here. But, maybe we should read this book right now. I think I kind of made the decision, right? Maybe we should read this book to set the mindset going into reading these other books. I think that might be a good idea. Let's just see. We might have to do it. I underlined this, I read a little bit of it, but it said, at a certain point, we move from student to practitioner, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm going from a student, right? Right now, I'm just putting my head down and going towards the goal of reading all these books and also remembering them too, and like making them into an actual into an actual like thing that's maybe other people can use, like a book report and all that kind of stuff. So probably should read this book. But we got some other ones too. Buffalo for a Broken Heart. I read the kind of like passage on the back and all that kind of stuff, and it sounded cool because he was bringing buffalo back to his native range, which is really nice. Then we got Knowledge Rich Ranching, which actually Ben said to me changed his whole way that he thought about it. So, you know, and this is Allen Nation. So this might be the next book that we read. We got The Power of Regret. The Power of Regret, you know, how looking backward moves us forward, you know. Sanjay Gupta. I know that guy. I don't know him, but I know of him. We got The Antidote, which is a Dust Bowl book. And, you know, I remember reading a Dust Bowl book, like when I was really young. But, people, we cannot forget about the Dust Bowl, you know. We cannot forget about the Dust Bowl. So, God, I want to read all these books right now. Man, Cattle, and Veld. Whoa. Pretty interesting. This is, I haven't even looked at this book. Man, the Problem or the Solution. I'm one of those fortunate individuals who knew early in life exactly what they wanted to do. Same. Whoa, this is very interesting. This is like tropical. Whoa, Zimbabwe. Whoa, being raised in a family where my father and two brothers were running over 10,000 head of cattle on a tropical surveld in Zimbabwe. Whoa. Whoa, this is really interesting. You know, this is where kind of managed. Wow, this is incredible. This is very interesting. Okay. The Veld Master. January 1995, initiation of ultra-high density grazing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, man, I mean, yeah. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Alright, goals. If you have no specific destination in mind, you can take any road and you will get there. What? Wait, if you have no specific destination in mind, you can take any road and you will get there. I got you. On the other hand, if you have an inappropriate destination in mind, you will end up being disappointed whatever road you take. I understand that. I understand. Okay, this is a cool ass book too. And then we got Let the Water Do the Work. This is the most expensive book I've ever bought. Actually not, because I had to buy like textbooks and all that kind of stuff. But okay. Oh, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Whoa, this is very interesting. Whoa, they're getting into some serious math right now. Induced meandering works. It's the results are demonstrated to everyone who's tried it. Whoa. Well, this is like making, I don't even know how to describe this, but it's like, you know, this is like, yeah. So, yeah, I guess like obviously like the floodplains and all that kind of stuff have been lost, you know, like, and creeks and all that kind of stuff aren't flowing what they used to. So I guess this is the way to truly, like redo it. But anyway, okay, we got that book. We'll probably read that book I don't know. Okay, the theory and practice of cattle breeding. Prepotency. This is interesting. All right, we're going to read mastery, right? And then we're really going to just go ham. We're really just going to go ham. See people as they are. Social intelligence. Often the greatest obstacle to our pursuit of mastery comes from emotional drain we experience in dealing with the resistance and manipulation of people around us. If we are not careful, our minds become absorbed in endless political intrigues and battles. The principal problem, oh yeah, that is so true. Especially at a farm where you hire people and all that kind of stuff, you have some bad apples and they take a lot of energy away from you. One bad apple can really just spoil the bunch or whatever. But that's pretty interesting. All right, we're going to read this book. But anyway, so plan is to read these books, more carpentry. Oh yeah, we got to get a truck. We're going to get a truck, and then we're going to build a camper because I need to build I just need to build a camper, so I've got a spot to stay on the ranch. So that's going to be fun, you know. It's going to be a lot of things we're going to be doing. I'm going to try to post a video as much as I possibly can, but, you know, since I did this video, there's no excuse for me not to post it. I mean, I don't really need to edit it or anything like that. I'm just going to post it and just start doing it, start getting better at stuff. I heard a good quote that said, you need to produce bad content in order to know what good content is, or to be on the path of producing good content. But anyway, I'm going to read this book and then I'm going to get back to you guys.